with Rita Fellen Hara, CEO and founders of Daughters of Sierra Leone. I want to welcome you. Happy Sunday to be part of this great program. I just want to use this opportunity to thank each and every one of you for being part of this program every Sunday, taking your time and being here on time because without you, this would not be possible. So today we're going to be talking about we still while we're still waiting on our guest, we're going to be talking about dealing with the stigma of autism. And I believe we're all Africans, and some of us are not, and we all know what that means. So while we're still waiting on your guest, I want to use this opportunity. If you're joining, you want to be part of this conversation, you can join from PROIB blog, you can join on Bonto blog, and you can join on Daughters of Sierra Leone platform, and you can join as well on Rita Fatlet Hara on my Facebook page. And if you are here today, you are celebrating anything, we want to say congratulations or whatever you are celebrating, and may God continue to bless each and every one of us. So if you're here, you want to be part of this conversation, you can join from PROIB blog, you can join from Bantu blog, and you can join from Daughters of Sierra Leone platform, and you can join as well on my partner platform. And if you are watching us, we have a lot of videos. You can go to Table Talk with Rita Felehara on my YouTube page, and you can watch some other videos that we've done, educational videos that can help you out. So that will be on our YouTube platform, Table Talk with Rita Felehara. So once again, welcome, welcome, welcome. While we're still waiting on our guest to be here, so we're going to be talking about autism, and I believe a lot of us we've known people that deal with that. We know someone, but then sometimes we're in denial. We feel like, okay, this is not normal because of the stigma in our African community. So while we are still waiting on our specialists to join us, so feel free, if you have any questions, you can send your question on PROIB blog, wherever you're watching. If you want to be part of this conversation too, you can join on PROIB blog and Bonto blog as well. So thank you, and happy, happy, happy Sunday. I am happy to be here, and I'm happy to be here with people like you that making this thing possible for us to be here today. So happy Sunday once again. So we're going to be waiting on our guest. Like you all know, we have guests that are joining from different part. So it's kind of hard sometimes getting everybody to connect. Sometimes internet issues. We have guests from Nigeria and from different part of the world, from the USA as well. So please bear with us if you're joining us. I just want to welcome you, and happy Sunday to each and every one of you. And I want to thank you for being part of this with us. We are happy to have you here today. Thank you. So I have here with me, I will have Miss Nancy Mikamara to introduce herself. Miss Nancy Mikamara, thank you for being here. I just want you to introduce yourself, please.
Hi, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you find yourself. My name is Nasimi Kamara. I'm a nurse working currently in Columbus, Ohio. Thank you for having
Thank
me, Miss Rita Kamara.
Thank you, Nancy. Like we are going to go right on to the program. Once again, I want to welcome you all for being here. This is Table Talk with Rita Felehara. Let's talk. Let's talk. Let's have this conversation going. So, Miss Nancy Kamara, we our topic today is dealing with the stigma of autism. So, we're gonna dive right in, and our other guests will join us while we deal with that. So, first of all, I want, if you don't mind, I would love for you to talk about autism. What is autism, first of all? Thank you.
Okay, first and foremost, autism is like, how should I put it in a layman's term? It can be uh, something. God. Okay, so it's a condition where affects children to adult. Most times you will start seeing behavior in the children with the way they act, especially with their pattern, the growth, the way they grow. if they get to a certain age, and at this age you're supposed to be doing this particular stuff, and that task is not being accomplished by this child, and that can be easily diagnosed when you take your child to the doctor, and they will actually ask the parents for like, what do your child do, what are they able to do at this age that they should have been doing but not able to get done. So it's a broad terms actually.
Okay. All right. Okay, thank you, Ms. Nasimi Kamara. For those of you that are watching, you are watching Table Talk with Rita Fellen Hara, CEO and founder of Daughters of Sierra Leone. I just want to welcome you if you're watching us. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We just have with us Miss Mary Meziga that is joining us. Miss Mary, if you're here, if you can hear me, can you please introduce yourself, please?
Yes, I can hear you, Miss Rita. Good day, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you find yourself. My name is Mary Meziger, and I reside in Los Angeles, California. I'm glad to be here to make a difference and to sensitize the disease autism that has put a stigma within our society, more especially with our young children that are schooling and want to interact. I hope I will make a difference today.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you for being here today.
Mhm.
I just want to welcome you guys, great women, for being here today. Let's talk about it. And I believe in our society, especially in the African community as a whole, when you say autism, the stigma and how people deal with that and how our loved ones deal with that. So, Miss Mary, I will jump right onto you. So, what do you think about autism, and is your own definition? Because I know autism is a broad, so we have different signs. So what do you think about that? And
Well,
um,
in a layman term, is behavior disorder, if that's the most simplified way I can put it. But in the African setting, that even makes it difficult because as Africans, we are brought up in a disciplined culture environment. So when a child starts behaving abnormal compared to other kids within his or her peer group, it raised concern to the parent, and of course, not only the parent, and how other pursue the parent that maybe you're not being a good parent or your parenting skill is not good enough. That's why your child is throwing tantrum out there. So it's really difficult, more especially within the African setting. In the modern world, based on the culture to play a role, based on the culture, some behavior seems to be accepted, like, okay, it's a tableau, he will grow over it. But in the African setting, that's a different ball game. That's what makes it harder for African parents, more especially in Africa. In the Western world, it's harder, but because of um, civilization and the media, everything now you can Google and find out some things for yourself. That makes it, beside visiting your doctor, your pediatrician, it makes it more easier. But as typical African setting, is really hard. And like I said, the simple way I can put it is medically, it's a neurological disorder, wherein the behavior do not play along with a normal child who or a normal person, because this is not only about child. I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes some
adult.
patients, yes, some patient will grow out of it, or the signs and symptoms may minimize as they grow, because they learn and try to manage the symptoms, but as a child is more pronounced out there. So that's why I keep saying child. It's not
Right.
that it just confirmed to the age gap of childhood. Is everybody. Yes.
Yes.
And sometimes it can be genetic, sometimes it just happen, you know. It's just there, just like any other disease.
Mm. Wow, thank you, Miss Mary, for clearing that giving us that broad definition. So for una way they watch they watch table talk with Rita Felehara. So we also get you to sister don't say, because I know say sometimes some the English is too big for some of for people then for able for understand we. So I just want for breaking down a little bit, don't understand. So where they talk about behavior, it means say it they talk like sometimes what we gonna certain place speaking they or big person self it they behave way not to so if or behave as a normally sometimes people they not can know say how then they deal with them. And I believe say for women then sometimes we they able for suppress them because of we they among we company we want for feel belong, we want for able for identify make nobody not think say nothing wrong with me, so we can able for play along with it, you know. So but for you where they watch we if you picking them a public you not a thing where you for be ashamed with. I know say for we Africans then the stigma, and for let person not talk say this na devil now you don't born, why you picking they behave this way, you picking too rude, why this picking they make so they make noise, you they Allah why they make so sometimes no we pay attention to key thing. If you feel say you picking need a help, um reach out for the help, not just say because of oh who not a born Chris man our family. I know say now a lot una when a nurse Miss Mary and Nancy, I know say una when a nurse way into the medical field, a lot of things where they kill we Africans and slowly we no want for accept that something is wrong. We feel say if we talk so then go say, oh, I don't want to get married to this family because they're a Chris family. But nothing is wrong for you for able to identify, like Miss Mary just mentioned. Sometimes it could be like people it run at the family, so it not mean say probably this first generation get them the other one no go get them. So sometimes not of us saying a devil, because I remember when me they grow up any small thing they say a devil this pikin get devil but not to devil. So but we not just understand probably na autism probably something else different, right? So but we not able to understand. So I will go over to Miss Nancy me Kamara. Let it just give we a small may talk more about it a little bit. Nancy, can you hear me?
Yes, I definitely can.
Okay, so you can go ahead and see what you have to say.
Okay, when it comes to this neurological disorder, this issue when it comes to autism, when your child is autistic, let me hit a point quick when you're talking about our cultural differences and what we the taboos and what we do accept and what sometimes the culture doesn't accept it. It's not because of they don't want, but that's their normal, that's what they consider to be normal for them. Okay, I remember when I was growing up, there's this young boy back in, I mean, that boy was in Aberdeen, and now that I know better, I remember it used to hold, it was so fascinated by a pencil or a stick. Every time you see him, it will walk around and just keep doing the stick like this, and it will run around. And it was a typical case. But because of the culture, because of what they are known to be, they say not devil. Okay, in America, that's a typical case of a child that is autistic. The stigma that we have in our community, that most of the family members are that are afraid to say, oh, my oh sorry, to say, oh,
No,
my son, to say my son or my daughter is exhibiting this personal this behavior. A typical behavior is like sometimes they are not able to sit still. They have this personality behavior where they keep repeatedly doing something, and if sometimes you go with them in public, you will see they will just yell, and some of them will just make some noise, and they will just throw tantrum out there. But the people that do not understand then go say, oh, look at that lady, she did not control her child at home, or give a good
behavior.
upbringing. Now she now they come in public, and this picking or this child is exhibiting this sort of behavior. If that was my child, I'll beat him to death. I'll no, he or she is sick. And the thing with the stigma why people don't come out is because of we African, we are quick to place stigma
George.
on a particular family or a child. And what also we don't understand, that stigma affect not only the child, but it also affect the entire family as a whole. So for me, I think that's one of the biggest problem why most African people don't come out and receive get help for their children, because one, they are afraid of what they're gonna what people gonna say? How are they gonna look at their child? Are you gonna let your child play with minds because of their behaviors? Because next thing you know, they say, oh well, this kid is influencing that one. I don't want my kid around your child because your child don't have any control. But at the end of the day, we cannot blame um the family or the mother for something that is being diagnosed, or something that could have been diagnosed but refused to go get diagnosed because of what the other people are going to say, or the stigma in our culture or in our environment.
Thank you,
That's
Miss
true.
Nancy Tamara. So I will go right on to Miss Mary Meziga. Miss Mary, do you have anything to add to what our sister just Nancy just talked about?
Yes, I'll buttress to what Miss Nancy just said. The fact remain is, everybody goes out there. I mean, as a grown up, as a child, you want to fit into society. That's
Mm-hmm.
the scary part. And here you are, you have a child or a sibling or a parent, right? I mean, people grow up. Some, like I said, they learn how to manage their symptom, but they have their life. They are like people, like, I mean, any other people out there. They're human being. I mean, it's the only difference is they have this disease called autism, but they have their life that day to day they carry on. So at the end of the day, the stigma is so renowned out there that it makes it scary, in schools, from kindergarten. Sometimes, they were like, okay, we're going to put your child into this class because they are disrupting the rest of the class, and they have to be in special class. That alone already have put the stigma on that poor little child, like, oh, I'm not part of this set of human race. Am I different? And that mentality alone also even makes the sickness worse, because that's where depression comes in. That's where the anxiety goes up. And with us, autism is a neurological disorder.
Mm-hmm.
So any little thing can tip that person off, that will end up, as young as they can be depressed, they can have anxiety, and as some of this behavior. That's the other thing I always tell my patient and family is, as a caregiver or as a parent, you should your responsibility is to master this child behavior, because some of this behavior is out of joy. Like, they express joy differently, they express their emotion differently, and they don't have control over it. Like, I will control myself when to smile, when to laugh. No, not for them. You're right. So that's what makes it different, and that's what makes community or the society, look at it in a very awkward way, because maybe you'll be in church and the child will start just laughing, continuously. He's laughing, maybe he's just enjoying the setup of the church, or maybe the music, the song that the choir or the choristers are singing. I'm just giving instances. So
Yes.
if we as caregiver, whether you are a doctor, nurse practitioner, nurses,
Mm-hmm.
and home health caregiver, or a parent, you master those child behavior, it makes it easier for you, it makes it easier for the child, because when the child start carrying on like that, you know exactly what they are trying to relate, or what is creating this behavior, and you will be able to minimize. And at the end of the day, my thing is, you are living your life for yourself. Society, good or bad, society will judge you. I don't have answer to the stigma. Not that any textbook has answer to the stigma. It will always be there, because that's how human race is. But just be yourself, and embrace that child. Give that child all the love you can, whether
Support.
you're a caregiver or your parent. Just be there as a normal person. They didn't ask for it. Just like any disease out there, it may happen to you, may happen to me. So we are fortunate to be on the other side of the road. So let's just embrace it as human being, and treat humanity. We accept humanity the way things are.
Yeah, thank you, Miss Mary Maziga. For those of you that are joining us, I just want to welcome you guys for watching Table Talk with Teresa Ferreira. If you're watching from PROIB blog, and if you're watching from Bantu blog, and from Daughters of Sierra Leone platform, and my personal platform, Rita Felihara. So feel free to follow us on YouTube. It's Table Talk with Rita Felihara. So we've heard Miss Nancy Mikamara and Miss Mary Maziga. They all have talked about it. For my own part, is the stigma. And for us Africans, we don't filter what we say. We don't care how the other person is feeling. We just say it as it is. And sometimes we see a child is behaving like Miss Mary and Miss Nancy have just talked about. We just say this child, it's mannerless. We don't care. Or sometimes they will say, God forbid, I won't have a child like this, or like, oh my God, why is this child? Our expression and how we feel to stuff and how we just don't care how that person feels. Some people have been praying for fruits of the womb, and then God just bless them with a child. Probably the child have autism, and then when the child is having a behavior issues, probably light or probably sound or something is triggering that
Yes.
behavior at that time, we just jump into it and say, oh, God forbid, if I have a child like that, for me to have a child like that, it's better for the child to just be dead. We just use so much strong words that if it's you, just put yourself into people's position. Just think about it. If that was your child, would you want me to say that? And we don't even care. We just actually say it in front of the people that are going through that. And for me personally, it's when I move over the US, I get to understand that certain behaviors that people were behaving, kids, adults, it's not normal. But if I was in the African setting, I think it's okay, right? But I didn't get to know that those behaviors, like, were not okay, was not a normal behavior. So for people that are talking to parents and you telling them, oh, God forbid, I won't have a child like that, God forbid, my child will not behave, you don't know what is going to come your way. And for us to be able to identify the problem and to able to work with the problem, but because of the stigma, I don't want to get married to that family because all the family, they are mad people,
Can I say
and
something when you're
go
done?
ahead,
Okay.
go ahead, go
So
ahead.
I also want everybody and people around that is watching this program to also understand not only this disorder, this neurological disorder affects that child, but most of the time, 99% of the time, it affects their mother. You will see, just like Miss Rita was saying, you will see their partners sometimes. Most of the time, you see the partners. It's you will watch and see most child with autistic that are autistic, their parents end up separating, divorce, or there is this tension in the family where most of the time you will see the husband side of the family is blaming the woman side of the family. Oh, it's not for my side. It's your own side that have this. The stigma, the pressure, and that leads to depression for the parents, especially the mother, because you have to because when you have a child that have a severe case of autism, you have to put everything you have on hold. That person will initially stop whatever it is on their day-to-day, their daily activity of daily living. They have to put everything on hold to care for that child. And most of the time you will find out the mother become burnt out because they don't have that initial help from the community, from the other partners, or most of the time from family members. They do not get the help, and the pressure comes so much on the mother, and most of the time you will see it lead to different other issues, because they are not able to have that assistance from family member that's supposed to be there to support them. And the burnt out come in place where you feel like you just give up, because these kids are very, they need consistent. When I mean consistent, they need consistent care, consistent attention, because you don't know what will be their next havoc. You don't know what they're going to be doing. And sometimes when your kid, you sit there as a parent and you watch your kid get into that mode where they cannot control themselves, or they're not able to control their behavior, you become helpless. So I want everybody to please be mindful, especially, and pay a little bit, just show a little bit, just show empathy. towards
Yeah.
the parent. Show
Yeah.
empathy, because that's the most important thing. If you don't
Fully
empathize, if you don't
considerate.
show empathy to that mother,
Mhm.
depression is real, and that also lead. That's one of the biggest disorder, which is depression, that leads to suicide. So we have
Yeah.
to be very, very mindful.
Thank you. Thank you, Miss Nancy McFly. This is Table Talk with Rita Sarah. If you're watching us for the first time, feel free to join us on this conversation. Send your comments. So we are here. We have experts that can answer to your all your questions, whatever you need to know about autism. So like Miss Mary have just she just talked about it. For us Africans, we don't really care about how the parent is feeling. We don't care because normally most of the time, even when we have this child, it's let's say 10% of our men that are actually there to see you go through the process. Whatever situation you're going, they are there. And sometimes it becomes so strong that our men be like, you know what, we not get this now with family, the cross. So everybody, if a child comes out good, the man wants to take glory. That's my son, that's my daughter, she's good at school, she's so smart. But why is it all the time when it comes to something else, and then we deny our partners, they don't want to be part of it? We always say our family don't have this kind of things. You left the woman to just bear that thing. And so a lot of times, whichever way, women go through more emotional stress. Think about it. This woman cook every day. She take care of that child, bath that child. She when this child is throwing tantrums, this woman is there. When whatever is going on, this woman is there. So for us, like, to just it would be nice if someone child is going through this situation. Just think about yourself. Always put yourself in somebody else's position. Don't just open your mouth wide and say things that are going to hurt somebody. If you cannot say something nice, shut up. If you cannot say something good, just be quiet and just be like, you know what? Pray for them in your heart, but just don't say something that is going to make that woman feel worse than the situation that she's going through. Because, I mean, most of the time, 90% of the case, we go through more of the stigma, one, and then what our friends and family has to say about us. So this is the thing, the killing part of it. So if you don't have something to say, if someone child is going through that, you don't have any nice things to say, just shut up. Just be quiet. Don't say nothing. Because when you say something, you don't know where you put in that woman. What she, because she goes through a whole lot. So Miss Mary Meziga, just a minute, Miss Mary. Essay Ebene, you are here joining us from Nigeria. Can you please introduce yourself, please? Essay? Okay. Miss Mary, go ahead and you can, if you have anything to add to what we all just talked about, you can go ahead now. Miss Mary Meziga? Nancy, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, you can go ahead if you have anything to add to what I just said.
Again, like you said, we just have to be supportive to the family. This is the reason why most in our community, because you will see a white man or African American individual, they accept, you know. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So with other culture and nationality, like where we came here, they are very acceptance of certain situation because they want to get that help. They are willing to go and get their child diagnosed and with behaviors, because like I said, even though it's a neurological disorder, but the behavior of the child is also determine how this child being diagnosed and with their daily day-to-day activity. So let me just say, if a mother notice at some at some point in time, your child is at let me just say 1 year or 6 months, is supposed to say mommy, or say let me say dada, or say some words or certain things they were supposed to be doing at that age, and they are not even starting to do it no matter what. Or you see your child say one word and do not repeat another word for months, or you see them regressing and not even go back to able to say those words. No, those are things that you need to bring up to your physician or your provider or her pediatrician. Whoever is in charge for that child care needs to be notified. That's the way early detection, early diagnosis is very important for therapy. It's very important for a family, for us to get our children the help that they need in a way so that we can tackle this disorder in a very, very early onset where you're working with your child. Because
Mm-hmm.
waiting for a prolonged amount of time based on stigma and do not go get assistance put that child at a very high risk, which their case become very, very difficult, because what they really need is not being given to them or is not being assessed and treated properly because of the stress, because of the stigma. And
Mm-hmm.
with you also, like I would say, like with the in the community that I know now, which is America here, you will see if there's a white person that is child being diagnosed or African American, you will see the husband, the family member, the cousin, everybody is involved. Most of the time, most people are involved for therapy. Most people are involved interacting with this child just to bring them to normalcy. You see, but in our community, because of the stigma, you will see even most of the time, like I said, that's how most of the relationship end up breaking up. Like marriages people get separated, end up getting divorced because of the pressure that it puts. This disease puts a lot of pressure on family members,
Mm-hmm.
especially the mother. And that's most of the time. If you watch around our community, if you see a child that is autistic, 99% of the time, if you investigate properly, you will see that that lady and her husband or her boyfriend has separated. And if you ask why, they will tell you because of the pressure, because of the workload that comes with this disorder. And that's the big problem that we have in our community. And I would pray and I hope that if you're a man or whoever boyfriend that you have a child with a person that have this disorder, please be supportive. Just show up for therapy, show up for appointments. It makes a whole lot of difference in this children's life.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Miss Nancy Kamara. Miss Essay Ayebene, if you can hear me, can you hear me, Essay? Essay. Okay, for those of you that are watching me, this is Table Talk. I want to welcome you here today. Happy Sunday to be part of this conversation. So feel free to send all your comments. If you want to be part of this conversation, you can join this conversation on PROIB blog and Bantu blog as well. And on my personal platform, Rita Velehara. And you can go and check us all. We have a lot of videos on our YouTube channel. You can check on Table Talk with Rita Felehara. So we've all have heard our beautiful sisters. They all have give their own contribution. So for me, I would like to say I've seen people go through that, but because I should not say out of ignorance, I didn't know exactly what these people were going through, the emotional damage and they are going through. I have seen quite some of our men, they are very, very supportive. And I'm not going to mention name. I've seen few men like they are out there with their child. They are out there making sure this child get the attention and the treatment that they need, and which is not normal for us Africans. We believe if we have a child, the child is not talking, this child is not doing what this child's supposed to do. We believe that this child is possessed, this child is a demon, this child not supposed to be around other kids. So for us to change that mindset, the narrative, or I will see other people's kids, and always put yourself in people's position. Don't just go to the market and you see this child is acting up and you say, oh, God forbid. You're saying that in front of the mom. I won't have a child like that. And for God to give me a child like that, I'd rather die. I'd rather this. Oh, I will never have a child like that. So for us to be more careful of words we are saying and how we are saying these things. because these things actually hurts people. So put yourself in people's position and say, if I'm walking around and your child is autistic and she's behaving a way, he or she is behaving a certain way, how would you feel if I tell you, God forbid, if I have a child like that? You won't feel good, right? So just always put yourself in people's position. Miss Nancy Camara, back to you.
Yeah, I'm
Esther,
here.
can you hear? Okay, and let me see if Esther can hear me. Esther, can you hear me? Esther,
It look like she's here.
she's here, but I can't hear her.
Finally, I've been listening.
Okay, okay, you can go ahead and introduce yourself, Esther. Can you introduce yourself and
I'm
you can just go
Essay.
right
I'm
onto the
a counseling
program?
psychologist. I've been listening to the wonderful interaction between Miss Rita and Miss, and it's been quite the stigma. I worked in a school where even teachers that should be more aware about it are afraid to have, there's this um, encourage their education. So the autistic children are allowed to be in the order that they can interact with all that. The whole stood up and clapped.
Right, I say thank you so much for your contribution. So I will go right on. Miss Nancy Camara,
Yes.
do you have anything to add to what our sister just talked about?
Yes, like again, like she said, in regards to like she works in a school, well, that's where the problem is most of the time. You know, most of these teachers that you would think, especially, I'm not talking about America, but especially in Africa to be precise, especially where I'm from, I can speak of. You will see the teachers are supposed to be educating these children that are supposed to encourage the child that have this particular disorder. You notice most of the time they do not encourage these children. They do not encourage them. They do not socialize with them. They already castigate them and already put that stigma on these children. So most of the time you will see a child go to school that is autistic. Most of the time you find them sitting by themselves in a corner. They do not interact with them. You will see is a lot of bullying where they bully these children, making fun of them and thinking, like you say again, because of our mental, we are not we are not educated on this particular disorder and say, oh, you are possessed, you have a devil, or your parents are cursed, and they do not associate themselves with these children, which put them in a very very vulnerable position. And I think the more they educate the teachers, and the teachers should know better, so they're able to educate the other students around these children, so they do not make them feel um left out. They do not feel like they are not belong, they don't belong, or they are not wanted. And I think that's the big part, because when these kids start in school, they spend most of their time in school with other children and these teachers. And if they are leaving home and go to school and they're being stigmatized and being making fun of, then they just make the situation worse instead of coming in and helping the children.
Wow, wow, wow. So this is a great conversation. I'm happy that we are having this conversation because normally this is not a conversation that we as Africans as a whole We don't have one. We don't want to have these conversations. Period, because we feel like all kids that we have supposed to be normal. No bad child, no nothing. There's nothing like a bad child. A child can be born. What about people that are born? They have cancer. Some people have bone issues. Some people have how they call this thing, bone issues. So it's these are things that we go through. And for Nigeria, I don't know if they're already, I believe they are sensitizing people about it. And for Africans, we have big mouths. Big mouths in the sense that we don't filter, we just say things as they are. But sometimes we end up hurting people that are going through this situation. So for us as Africans, Sierra Leone, Nigeria, West Africans, period, we just have big mouths. We just say things that are going to hurt. What about the parents? Especially women, we go through a lot. You cook, you clean, you wash clothes. You got to deal with this child's behavior. So think about it, what this mother is going through. And a lot of times kids are in school, like we essay talked about it, Nancy, as well. And these kids go to school, it's not because they want to be born with this disease, but if society, we can come together as Africans and start having little programs that can help these kids understand that child is having a problem, I don't want to talk to this child, or I don't want my child to play with this child. All kids are kids from God, but it's all depends on us as a parents, how we can embrace other people's kids. It doesn't have to be that it's not my child, I don't care.
Yeah,
It's
and
not my child, I don't care how this child acts. I can see a child at the bus stop or at school. All you have to be like, oh hi, how are you? How's this child? How is he doing? Or how is she doing? You interact. I know Africa, we're still there, but the problem with us, we have bad mouths. We just say things, no filter, no nothing. We don't care who we are hurting, and we're quick to spread news. Oh, you not see, na pikin wey Ramatu born, or Abdullahi born, look at the pikin, na so they make in eye. You don't ask, why is Ramatu's child behaving this way? No, but you're already spreading rumors. So this is the problem that we have in the African community. We don't find solution. We don't care to check on people, but we are quick to spread rumors that, that's not going to bring anything but bad. So please, for us that are watching, if you see somebody's child is going through something, you don't have anything nice to say, just be quiet, please.
and
Just don't say
also
nothing.
and
Go ahead.
also I want to say something
Mhm.
for family members that are involved. Like if I'm the grandma, or you're the grandma or grandpa or auntie to a child with autistic, or that is diagnosed with
Autism.
autism, please be kind enough to give the mother a break.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you can just volunteer
Right.
and go to this person's house and tell them, hey, Nancy, take a break for 2 hours, take care of yourself, go do your nails, go do your
Go do your,
eyebrow,
yes.
take
Very
a break and
important.
go to the movie, or go eat, go somewhere. Just give them that opportunity to take a break, because believe it or not, they might not ask you to give them that break,
But they
but
need it.
they need that break, because that's a make or break. Because like I said, the major problem with the caregiver, I'm making it as a whole, a caregiver, is the burnt out. They get burnt out because they don't have enough sleep, because their whole life become and it involve around this children or this child that is being diagnosed. So your whole entire life, this child that is being diagnosed, you have to reschedule, you have to rearrange your life around your child that is being diagnosed. So basically, you will not eat if your child don't eat, because sometimes they take hours for them to just eat a simple fries, because they probably take one bite and they sit there and start nodding their head and start singing and start singing. You have to remind them, go ahead, take another bite. Even for them to take a bite, they will hold the food to their mouth and they will not bite. They will not do anything. They will just sit there. So feeding them alone take hours. So imagine if they have to go to school and part of their therapy is for them to try to get themselves dressed. It takes you 3-4 hours. if you are trying to give them a pants to put on, they
Okay.
will hold that pants and start jogging with the pants and start moving around. And you have to have that patience to let them get with you and consistently telling them, go ahead, baby, put your pants on. Maybe you will repeat, put your pants on for 50 times, and that child will be sitting there holding the pants without even making an effort to do it. It's not like they cannot do it, but their brain cannot process it. Just that alone, it takes hours for them to eat. It takes hours for you to even get them dressed. It takes so much long time for them to even complete a simple task. So all of that bring that burnt out to the family. And sometimes most parents that have a children or child with autism, they don't even let some family come over because, like I said, their whole entire life is revolved around this child. So if I want to even sleep at 9 o'clock and or 7 o'clock, and my child don't want to sit and sleep, and they have these they are at that point where the spectrum start, and they sit there, they cannot sleep. They have to wait for that child to fall asleep. And even when that child falls asleep, they cannot even sleep because they are afraid. So most of these parents, you will see their house is battened with keys and padlocks. It's not because they want to, but they are afraid. If they fall asleep, will my child just run out of the house? Will my child just leave the house without me even knowing? And when you have a routine set up and saying, okay, I'm just making an example. Joe have to get up at 7 o'clock today, or this is our normal routine where Joe get up at 7 o'clock, brush his teeth at 7:15, wash his face at 7:05, whatever the schedule you have for your child. You have to keep that routine. It's a consistent thing. You have to keep that routine because you want your child to be able to do things on their own based on that routine that you have set up for them. You will see some family member don't even like visitors because they don't understand, they don't know if that visitor is going to trigger their child behaviors. And they don't like people come over because they don't know, okay, if this person come over, is
Okay.
he or she gonna follow my routine? Is she gonna go to bed at 5 o'clock because my son go to bed at 5 o'clock? Because
Okay.
she already adjusted and saying, okay, I'm gonna go to bed at 5 o'clock because that's when Joe go to bed at 5 o'clock. So you
Hmm.
see, there's a lot of stuff that involve around this. That's why a lot of people are, like I said, if your child have that disorder and or your family member have it, give that parents a break. Just call them up and say, hey, you want me to come over so you can take a 30 minutes break or sleep for 30 minutes? That do
Okay,
help a
Nancy,
lot.
just a minute. We will come back to that. Just a minute, real quick. Let me add
Mhm.
Mary back on.
Okay.
Okay. All
Sorry,
right,
sorry
Mary,
guys, for some
welcome.
reason, I don't know what happened to the network.
It's okay. It's okay. We definitely
Welcome back.
Oh,
we
thank you,
definitely
ladies.
understand.
Thank
Thank you for
you.
coming back.
Oh, no
So if you
problem.
are just joining us, I just want to welcome you guys to be part of this conversation. Let's talk. This is Table Talk with Rita Felehara. If you're watching from PROIB blog, and if you're watching from Bantu blog and Daughters of Sierra Leone platform, and my personal platform, Rita Felehara. If you want to watch more videos, we have a lot of videos on our YouTube channel. You can go ahead and feel free. We have a lot of videos. So, Miss Mary, welcome back.
Thank
We
you,
we've had
ladies.
our sister, Nancy me. She has talked about it. So I just wanted you to go a little bit more and what, as a parent, like Nancy talked about. Giving the mom a break for her to go get her nails done, go get her hair done is very important. And for us Africans, we feel like the holy problem, all the problems that comes from childbearing, it's the mom, you know.
Correct.
And
That's
no, the men don't have no
as
problem at all.
a
You have a
typical
boy.
African grew up in
Absolutely.
Africa. That's our mom take. I mean,
Exactly.
we the
The
women,
mother.
because we are
Yes,
mothers, and
yes.
so
The
we
men
the
don't have
women
no
take all the
problem.
heat.
Uh-huh. The
Who
men don't have no
when
problem.
it's
Give it
bad,
out
when it's
gender.
bad, we
It
take
is
the heat.
good.
When it's good,
If
it's
they're
both the
playing soccer
parents.
now and play
Credit.
basketball, it's my son. It's my daughter.
Yes, yes.
So
That's just it. I mean, it's just natural. We Africans. I mean, we just embrace it, and
the good stuff.
um, it makes a difference. Honestly, just being a mother alone is a handful, guys. Any mother out there will attest to it. I mean, from a bouncing baby to tablet to God knows, even when they are teenager, we are still playing that role as a mother. And that's our responsibility. And as Africans, I think we like put more burden to it. It's like the expectation is high because
Hi.
we want to portray to the society that we are good moms. That's the bottom line. So in this situation, it makes a difference. You have a friend that has a autistic kids, you have a sister, I mean a neighbor, whoever, it makes a difference for you stepping in like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, just for that person to go in the bath, sit in the bathroom, not even going outside, just sit in the bathroom without no interruption. This is my 20 minutes me time. Mentally, is therapeutic.
It is.
Emotionally, is empowering, is refreshing as a human being, because going through I was backstage listening to Miss Nancy, going through all this session with these kids, is overwhelming. But there's nothing you can do as a parent. You just want to make sure your child is okay, your child is safe, your child is well loved, your child is well nurtured. So you give it all, and sometimes it burns out to a point that you see women out there like, oh, look at her, she just look. Oh, is that how
Yeah,
you come
yeah,
out of the house?
somebody-
This is not even about America. It's just typical about human being. Like, shoo, look at her. Is that how she come out? No, she didn't mean to. But guess what? She got to go to the grocery store. She got to go to doctor's appointment. Her priority is that child. So, as a friend or whoever is around that individual, that woman, please step up. It means a lot. It means
Yeah.
better even you writing a check. Oh, I'm gonna help. No, physically,
No,
just step up. Like, you know
physically.
what? I'm gonna be there from 2:30 to 3:30, or from 2 o'clock to 2:30. I mean, just take time off, and she'll walk you through that 30 minutes. Make sure she walk you through the routine, just like because these kids have their their brain is
it's not,
functioning,
but
but
it's
at
not.
a slow pace
Yes.
at a slow pace, wherein you and me will do a task within a minute, then it will take them an hour, because neurologically, they how their sensors transmit for them is different. And you just have to have that patience, because if you don't have that patience, that's another ball game. Because you rushing them, it just throw the anxiety level off the roof. And at the end of the day, you are not achieving the goal. And I overheard Miss Nancy also emphasizing on the fact that, more especially when these kids come to us, we have like a care plan for them,
Yes.
with a parent, like, okay, this week I want you to do so and so exercise, because we want to empower them. They are human beings, they're gonna grow up. Mom's
Yes.
not gonna be here forever, right? So we
Mhm.
want to help the family, or the mom in particular, because most of the cases, my
Single
heart
parent.
goes out to those moms. Most of these cases is women that are really, really out there with these kids. The dad sometimes, I don't know if it's the stigma or just don't want to deal
I
with
believe it's
it.
a stigma, and
Yeah,
it's a stigma. I've seen one Sierra Leone man, in LA. I believe you know who this person is, but I'm not gonna say.
So
I
And
yeah.
I
might.
have so much
Um,
respect for this particular man, that everywhere he goes, the child
Yes.
is there with him. And anywhere I've seen the child with the father more than even the mom. And I
yeah,
get to know the mom later. And I was like, do they have men like this? You know
it
what
makes
I
a
mean?
difference.
It's
It
not
makes a difference.
really
Having a partner
common.
that is there, it makes a big
Yes.
That is
difference. Yeah.
supportive. Like I'm telling
It's so
you.
supportive. He's not ashamed. They have other kids, but it was only one of them that, and this child is so sweet. Anytime this child meet you, Mary, your heart will just melt away.
They
Like
are the
he'll give you a
sweetest.
hug. He'll give
Mm-hmm.
you a hug. And she is always on the dancing move. And so to me, I look at her, I said, you know what? I think I have problems, or I think I'm going through stuff. Look at this child with whatever this child is going through. The dad is so, it's an amazing dad. And I wish a lot of our men will come on board. These kids were not, and even the mom doesn't, doesn't want these things to happen. And Mary, I know we are here in the US, and I know in Nigeria as well, they talk about it, but there is not much help when it comes to that. And I believe in Sierra Leone, I'm not too sure. So I believe the more people are aware of it, and this will bad moths, what we let for condemn. We let for condemn. Why sometimes I will speak a little bit English and I'll go back to Creole, because some people watch, they don't speak English that much. So I
Okay.
try to go back and explain a little bit so they could at least get the message a little bit. So for una where they watch we una don't hear all waiting with sister they don't talk. SAIA Bene don't talk from Nigeria, he don't talk in your part. And my sister Mary Meziga don't talk in your part, and my sister from Nancy from Columbus, Ohio, himself don't come, he don't give your part. When una see person picking the jump, or una see person picking the behavior, we una not know what's happy with them. Una not quick for judge, correct? Una not quick for judge say, hey, this picky as why they make so, this picky na devil na get, this picky as so. Say we Salomon or Nigerian people, we quick for judge people then. If you not get nothing good way for talk, lock your mouth, take your mouth. If you mouth they pain you if you want to talk, bet this sleep here, bet them. Not say nothing. Because the more you they say something, you they hurt the parents then. Oh, this na debu na born. Kadiatu na debu na born. Or Santiki na picking na debu. Nobody know they born debu. We granny themselves out of ignorance. They are not going to speaking in a quantity. We're not to debu na in and get, but because of we believe say that we mind say this all picking this picking if you know they talk na cost this picking cost. Or if this picking know they behave a certain way, na debu na this picking gets. Lord will stop their mentality and I believe say in the future, by God in your own power, we go get more help on that issue there. Yeah, so I hope so una able to understand also where they come on from. I know see some of una go say una don't count, don't speak them, but what English them. So una be out with we. Una be out
Sorry,
with we.
we apologize.
Yeah, then again, Miss Peter. So
Go
like for
ahead.
me, like okay, so I have few children that I deal with and stuff like that I work with. I mean, when I'm telling you the burnt out is real, that's the
Yeah,
majority. The burnt out is it's real.
I
I
don't
have
mind.
I know somebody. Let me say, I know somebody. The moment I walked in, the moment I walked in the morning, the first thing she do, she'll give me the biggest hug ever. She said, "I'll be right back."
Hey.
And imagine, did she wanted to just give me that hug? I know she's relieved. I'm there. She's relieved. And she's like, oh my goodness. The first thing, oh my goodness, thank God, Nancy, you're here. Okay, I'm about to go eat real quick. I'll be right back. So, just so she can get away. Sometimes I know she's in her room or they're downstairs, but I don't even bother because she need that
That
break.
break.
She need that break because there's some time you can see the frustration. The frustration is there. But then again, what can she do? That's her child. She
Just
have to
embrace it.
love. She have to love unconditionally. She have to care for that child unconditionally. She have
Sure.
to be there to show support.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much things that involve in this in a process in this this particular disorder, this neurotransmission or disorder that a lot of people don't understand. They only see the physical. They only see the physical part of it, but they don't understand the mental, the emotional torture and drain it plays on the parents. It's just frustrating sometimes. I just wish that our government or the health sectors
Well,
and
well, for me, I believe, say, with us, first of all, as Africans, we have to understand that these things are real.
Now,
And we have to,
we have to face reality.
exactly,
reality
If
and accept.
you cannot solve a problem when you don't
you don't
accept that the
identify.
problem
Yeah.
exists. That's
Yeah.
the thing.
So first of
Yeah.
all, we have to identify that first and embrace it then before any other sector coming in, government all this organization that wants to come into that. But us as an individual, first we have to know. And Sierra Leone and let's say Africans, we get bad mouths. We just like talk, Mary. We don't like good see. Look at this is catchy. Don't check this one, the other one. We are good in that, but we don't find solution. So we all about finding solution, and we all about helping one another, not backstabbing one another. Don't make you feel worse than the problem that you are going through, because these things are real. They happen. And if you don't have anything to say, just be quiet. That's all I have to say. So we've been here now for quite some time, so I will have my other guests for them to say their final thoughts and their final bye, and then we are going to draw the curtain till we see again. I'll go with you, Miss Mary Meziga. Do you have anything to say before we close?
Of course. First of all, I just want to say thank you for inviting me to your table talk show, and I thank all the viewers. And for me, not only as a medical practitioner, but as a mother and as somebody that takes immunity into my wing, I just ask that we accept that this is real and we embrace and accommodate. It makes a difference. It makes a big difference. And may God bless us all. I love you all from California. You take care.
Thank you, Miss Mary Messiga, and thank you for being here. And I just want to use this time to thank you. You are always hard to get, but thank you for being here.
Hey, you know, I'm
So
sorry,
thank you.
but
I
it's
appreciate
duty
you.
calls.
Yeah, I understand, and I appreciate you being here and for us to do this together, and that what gives me that joy. And thank you once again, Miss Mary Meziga. Miss Nancy Mikamara, do you have your final words with our viewers?
Okay. First and foremost, I want to thank you. I want to thank Bantu Blog and IB Blog. I want to thank the viewers for thank you so much, Miss Fela Kamara Ara, for having me on your platform today, discussing a very important topic in our community. And I just want to plead with a family and friend, if you have somebody close by that have a child that is exhibiting signs of autism, please show empathy, show some love, support, and just be there for one another. It makes a big difference to just be there and to just encourage. And parents, please get an early diagnosis. Take your child for visit. If you're noticing any abnormality, please, early detection is very important for therapy to start at a very early age, so that we are able to give these children the best, get them to the maximum ability to live a normal life in future. Thank you so much once more time. This is Nasimi Kamara. Thank you so much for having me on your program.
Thank you, Ms. Nansimi Kamara. And for Ese Ayebene that joined us all the way from Nigeria, we want to thank you for joining us. For Dr. Cora that was supposed to join us, what issue, you all know how that goes. And for my back end, Amadou, and I want to thank Alex Theo for always being on our back end. I want to thank Peter.
Hi, Alex.
I want to thank PROIB Blog for always having us. And I want to thank Bantu Blog for always having us. And Daughters of Sierra Leone for always having us as well. And for myself, Mrs. Rita Felehara, I want to thank myself as well. And for all my amazing guests, Miss Mary Meziga, Miss Nancy Mikamara, Ese Ayebene, and for Dr. Cara that we didn't have, I just want to thank you all. And for Samuel and for Simi for always giving us the greatest design, always accommodating us, making changes. But Simi, we just want to thank you this time for always being there. PROIB Blog, Bantu Blog, and Rita Felehara. Follow us on YouTube, Table Talk with Rita Felehara. Please feel free. For all my amazing viewers, we want to thank you. Till we meet again, this is Table Talk with Rita Felehara. Till we meet again, and we will draw the curtain. We love to have you here, but we have to go. And happy Sunday. Thank you. Thank you. Miss Mary.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Mm.
Miss
Bye,
Ma-
Bye.
Mary.
Miss Tamara.
I
Bye.
love
Thank
you.
Bye. Go
you.
out there and do what you love to do best.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Happy to have you here with your busy schedule.